Breaking news, this is important. I am making a tabletop RPG, specifically the Florida Man RPG, the content of which will include characters and scenarios from the Man Shorts universe, as well as crazy headlines from Florida. And the Kickstarter is coming very soon. Now, originally I was going to make this as an expansion for 5e or 3.5, but during development, it just started to make way more sense to make it a standalone RPG. So it'll be a D20 system, heavily inspired by D&D, Pathfinder, and D20 Modern. The main goal of the Kickstarter is going to be to get the PHB made, with stretch goals to make a monster manual and a DMG. I'm confident that if we get it funded, I can get it done in a couple of months, so the goal is to have the PHB ready by October. I've already made 10 species, including the standard human variant, Florida Man, as well as all these other cool species. By the way, yes, I used AI tools to generate these images. Don't come for me. These are purely conceptual pieces. I will be contracting out actual artists to make the artwork for the book. I've got 10 classes, 30 subclasses, 12 backgrounds, and a list of 25 skills. If and when the Kickstarter gets funded, I'll be able to fully flesh out the classes as well as the equipment, weapons, feats, and spells. In the meantime, finances are still a little tight, so if you're able to throw me a couple of bucks, you could do so on PayPal, Venmo, or Cashapp, all of which are yes. But yeah, that's all. That's the news. Florida Man RPG incoming. Keep your eyes and ears open.
Tonight's episode, we have Puffy Cheeto news, the Bard Yassic news, and Kirk's Gray Minis news. And we're back! Welcome in, everybody. This is Rogue Bard Advice, a D&D TTRPG, sports everything, nerdcast, if you will. I am your host. You may know me as the Pirate Archaeologist, Pirate, the Rogue Thief Pirate Archaeologist. Some still call me Chris, and of course, some who call me husband, wife. Hello, everybody in chat. I would like to welcome in all of our regulars: Jim, Yokai Lover, my wife Melody, Ruby, Milady Lee, Ron. Welcome in, welcome. But yes, we're here. And I do want to take this moment to apologize for canceling so abruptly last week. Migraines are a son of a bitch. I'm just going to say that. So, there's that. Now, no trimming of the beard. The beard is staying. I like the beard, and I don't care if you don't like it, dear. I'm not home, so I can grow the beard. But yes, we do have some news on three fronts. We're going to start off with a little somber news. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off of this one. So as you all know, Puffy Cheeto, our wonderful honorary member of the Council of Chris, has been going through a lot with her family lately. Her mother is in stage 4 cancer. And they just got word a couple days ago. I reached out to Amanda and asked her how everything was going. She reached back to me and said, not so good in not so many words. Stage 4 cancer is progressing. The doctors are trying Amanda's mom out on another medication, and they want to see how that's going. But Amanda also has to have a bone marrow biopsy to find out why her white blood count is so high. So our hearts and prayers will go out to Amanda and Amanda's family. We at the Rogue Bard Advice channel, and along with our parent channel, Man Shorts, gives our best wishes to Amanda and hopes that this troublesome time will pass and yeah. With that, we go into some more somber news. It has come to my attention also. You're not late, Crimson Honda. You're a wizard, and wizards are never late. They arrive just when they mean to. They do. Well, I don't know how they badly they hurt Ruby. I know you and many other people probably know more about the pain that she's about to be in. She has to have that bone biopsy through her hip, and I don't know why they can't do it like a shin, but I don't know. Thank you, Jim. I will pass on all of your guys' good wishes to her because I still am in contact with her. Um, but yeah, we have some more terrible news, and this one goes out on behalf of the bard Yazik Chaz himself. A couple days ago, the bard's wife Jess lost her father. He also passed away of cancer, I believe. Um, so the bard's not doing too well himself. Bills are starting to stack up again. Um, all of you guys who have helped in the past, he wants to thank you guys for all of that. He wanted me to remind you guys that all of his GoFundMe's are still up. They're up on a rotating basis because of this. Um, yeah, anything you guys can do to help, sharing out this stream, liking this stream, sharing it out, commenting on it, all of this helps, if not anything but to bring up people's spirits. So, Warlock, Wizard, same thing, Crimson. Um, so yeah, anything you guys can do to help out the Bard, anything you guys can do to help out the Cheeto, it would all be greatly appreciated. Even if it's just a message, even if it's just a quick, hey, thinking of you message, I will get it to the people that need to get it, and we can move forward with that. Now, before we get into Kirk's Minis news, Kirk's Gray Mini news, because there is news on that front, I want to take this time to say thank you to everybody who voted in the poll for this week. I meant to have it go for 2 weeks, but 71% of you overwhelmingly said to start the pod next Friday at the normal time. However, I want to bring up the atmosphere, the mood right now. The reason I put the poll out there is because I was invited to do a live stream video game to raise money for another friend of mine on TikTok. Her name is Defiant Cupcake. She also just got through cancer treatment, and she's having more cancer treatments done, but not because she has cancer. She's doing all the prep work for the after cancer. She is cancer free now that they've removed all of the cancer cells. They surgically removed everything. So I think they surgically removed it, but she's cancer free. So we're running a fundraiser slash video slash gaming live stream with a whole bunch of content creators. More of that to come. I will post all that information in the Discord when I get word. But it's going to be a drinking game called Spell Shots Against Humanity. Apparently, we are playing it D&D style. We only use the white cards, and you have to drink or you have to take a shot in order to cast your spell. And we roll for damage, we roll a hit, we roll all of that. So it's going to be fun, and I was graciously invited to join. So it's why I posted to you guys. I wanted to make you guys feel included. That way, if we had to go early, we could. But I think all in all, I don't think you guys would disagree if I went and canceled or postponed next week's stream. So with that, that's the news on all of the sad and sort of happy stuff. Now on to Kirk's Gray Mini News. There has been some front on that. The minis have broken out of their box and have requested Kirk to paint them, and Kirk vehemently denied to paint them and told them to get them back in their box. So, yeah, Kirk's minis are alive, apparently. And if you're in the Discord, you know where that comes from. So, but anyway, yeah, let's get to some TTRPG news, okay? Shall we? Let's move on with some happy fun stuff. Apparently there are there are orcs, forest portals, and steampunk mysteries and more in this week's 5e compatible RPGs. Let's see. Orcs and Orcs. It's a freaking complete guide to unleashing the full fury and complexity of orc kind at your table. You've got the fairy tale classics. Dreamwalker is out. In a world where fairy tales are whispered in fear and bedtime stories end in blood, there are those who do not fight with steel or spellbooks, but with one thing no armor can guard: the dream. Sounds like Dreamwalkers to me. And that's second paragraph. The Dreamwalker is neither fully of the waking world nor the sleepy one. That sounds interesting. Hey, this one goes out to Yazik. If y'all don't know, Yazik is means tongue from the Clockwork Orange thing, translated to tongue or something, many tongues or something like that. So a steampunk D&D adventure has come out. It's called The Clockwork Conspiracy. So maybe we get that for Jazz. Welcome to Gearhaven, a magnificent city where steam rises from brass pipes and clockwork marvels power daily life. For all you steampunk fans out there, that's a great adventure. Forest Portal. It's a 40 by 40 grid, no grid, 70-piece tile. It's a high-quality forest battle map featuring a magic portal perfect for immersive encounters in your RPG sessions. Nyx's Night Inn. If you want to add a little extra character in your adventure, or a player who would love an NPC as a base for a new character. The store's namesake, Nyx, is the proprietor of the Night Inn. She is a formidable figure, but has a caring personality. From the cover, it looks like Nyx is a Drider. So I will post that in the Discord later tonight. Sounds like fun. WotC drops a new arcane subclass playtest pack with 9 subclasses. I'll go ahead and post. I'm not going to go through that. I've just written the headline for you guys there. I'll go ahead and post that in the Discord. Arcane subclasses. We always need more arcane subclasses, right? Sonic the Hedgehog and friends are dashing their way into Magic the Gathering. Wizards of the Coast announced Secret X Sonic Super Drop. The drop set released for Magic the Gathering, which will hit stores when? It will hit stores July 14th. So, I'm sorry, it hit pre-order on July 14th. So, yeah. So, in about a month, you can pre-order the Secret Lair Sonic the Hedgehog for $49.95 or $49.99. That's what the foil versions of the retail set will retail for $49.99. Non-foil versions are set to retail for $39.99. The non-foil versions will be available for retail in August. So if you want to get it early in July, you got to get the foil. If you want the non-foil, you got to wait till August. With that, we've got a few more to look at. We've got Tech Class playtest completion. Starfinder's Tech Class playlist was completed for Pathfinder and Starfinder. But yeah, apparently also in the world of video games, Steam has released their partnership or is in partnership with Xbox now. And all of the PlayStation exclusives you can get on Steam. So if you don't have PlayStation and you have an Xbox, you can play all the PlayStation exclusive games exclusively on Steam. I haven't tried downloading anything and to see if I can't play it on my Xbox app on my computer yet, but at least for the PC you could play them. So there's that. Shall we get to questions? Because we've got a few questions tonight, and some of them are really interesting. Some of them are really good. And there's one at least, maybe two, that are dependent on you guys. So let's get into questions. Our first question comes from our good friend Kirk. I haven't seen Kirk. Has anybody seen Kirk? Is Kirk in the chat? Doesn't matter if he's in the chat or not. Speaking of the Library of Alexandria, what event is most likely to create new erasures of large amounts of knowledge? Nuclear war, idiocracy, AI singularity? Kirk, I had a real... So I know you sent this 2 weeks ago, and I was gonna say something last week, but things happened. So I was gonna try and stay away from this question only because a question like this can get too political. But then you threw in there Idiocracy, and I don't think the movie Idiocracy is political enough. So that's what I'm gonna say. Yes, that's all my answer. Yes, it's all you get, Kirk. Sorry. We want to try and keep this upbeat and everything, and without me delving into the realm of this stuff has happened again, especially in today's climate, your answer is yes. Hope the answer was good enough for you, Kirk. It's a quick answer. It's the only one you get. This question caused my migraine? No. That question didn't cause my migraine. The next question, however, did. And it comes from the Mrs. Pirate. Dear Mr. Pirate, sir, I hope the Florida weather is treating you well. I have often wondered. No, you have not, because if you have, you would have asked me when I was home. You have not. Which that's supposed to be, is more efficient for the services they provided in World War II. The B-24 Liberator or the B-17 Flying Fortress. What is your opinion? Melody, a.k.a. Mrs. Pirate, a.k.a. Melody. Well, thank you, Melody. Thank you, dear, for that question. It really did not give me a migraine. Though having you write out B-24 Liberator it was funny in itself, because I think that's the model designation for those certain pillows and triangular devices that are used in certain... Yeah. No, my opinion, neither. They both were able to carry the same amount of weight in munitions. They both, the B-24 Liberator could go farther because of the engines they had replaced from the B-17. They upgraded the engines, gave them better engine efficiency, gave them a longer range. However, anything has been digitized is vulnerable if the hard copies are destroyed. They say the internet is forever, but is it really? Uh, we'll get back to that, Ron. Yes, no, you're absolutely correct. Anything that has been digitized is vulnerable if the hard copies are destroyed. Um, but with that being said, put everything on DVDs and bury them. Put everything on CDs. We're getting back to an era where we should be building computers again and going back to 30-year-old technology and using burnable DVDs and burnable CDs. I mean, even a USB flash drive. You can put everything on a USB flash drive now. But back to the aircraft question. Um, so the differences between the 24 and the 17 were so minute that by the end of the war, they had a new and better and longer range aircraft in the B-29 Super Fortress. So my answer, the B-29 Super Fortress. That's until 1952 when we created the musical sensation. Well, the musical sensation came out in the 80s. They got their name from this aircraft, but this aircraft was designed and built in the 50s. In 52, it was released, and it is the B-52, and it is still flying to this day. They just did a spine mod to it. Spine mod, they take the backbone out of the airplane and they replace it. Gives it 30 more year flying life. Um, they just did last year. They just finished a engine upgrade and replaced all 8 of the original jet turbine engines with 8 very new and very much more powerful jet turbine engines. The B-52 is slated to still be in operational status until 2060. That is 110 years of operational status, and that is unheard of for an airplane. So, but it's one of only 2 airplanes that we've got that are nuclear bomb capable. We had a third, we had to nerf it because the third one can travel supersonic. So the third one can travel at Mach 2, I believe, Mach 1, Mach 2. The B2 can only travel sub Mach, and the B-52 can't travel it at any Mach. So, according to the nuclear arms treaty that we signed back in the freaking late 80s, early 90s, if we design an aircraft that is Mach capable, it cannot have nuclear weapon capabilities either. So the Blackbird, yes, the Blackbird, but the Blackbird's no longer flying. The aircraft I'm talking about, Ron, is the B-1 Bone. Yes, it's the B-1, B-O-N-E, and its nickname is the Bone. And it is a swept wing. It is actually a swept wing capable. It opens its wings and sweeps them back just like the F-14 Tomcat. But we designed it to carry nuclear munitions. And the moment the Ruskies found out about it and their inspectors came over, they said, nope, you got to take all this stuff out. It cannot have it. It violates this treaty. So that's what we did. Unfortunately. Can't have anything flying faster than they can be able to try and shoot it down. But that was a great question, dear, and I hope you got something out of it. I hope you got a little bit of aircraft knowledge out of it. So, yeah, you know what? We'll go back to the chat on this one. We'll stay on this one for a little. What's your guys' favorite airplane of all time? Whether it's military, whether it's a little small little single engine racing plane. I mean, the Spirit of St. Louis for the longest time was my favorite. So I know there's not many people in the chat tonight. There's only 8 of us here. It is a Friday, but there should be more people here. So, but yeah, no. What's your guys' favorite? What's your guys' favorite airplanes? P-51 was always a favorite of mine. The DC, I want to say, not the DC-10. The Lockheed L-188 Electra is always was always a favorite of mine. My wife likes the C-130 only because the C-130 can take out a Mercedes-Benz. She gets that from the A-Team movie. An Avro Arrow. Okay. An Avro Arrow. Nice. A Sopwith Camel. Nice. Pulling out the Sopwith. Wasn't a Sopwith Camel a World War I plane, Ron? Did they use the Sopwith in World War II also? Sopwith Camel, British First World War single-seat biplane fighter, was introduced on the Western Front in 1917. You're showing your age, Ron. Just teasing you. Its top speed is 113 mile an hour. 113 mile an hour in 1917. You guys realize from the time the 1903 to 1917, we went from, what was it? What was the speed of the Wright Flyer? It took off in 1903 and it flew for 4 flights, 12 horsepower. Couldn't have been more than, 10, 15 mile an hour? But it only went for it only covered 852 feet in 59 seconds. Snoopy did fly with a Sopwith Camel, though. Did Snoopy also fly his doghouse? Snoopy also flew a doghouse, but Snoopy defeated the Red Baron. And every Christmas I listen to Snoopy and the Red Baron. I listen to both songs. I listen to the first song, and then I listen to Snoopy and the Red Baron's Christmas. It's on repeat during Christmas time. So, but what I was saying is we went from, however fast the Wright Flyer went, 15 years later, we were doing 113 mile an hour in the air. Have an airplane museum up the street from your home on the old air base. Most Air Force bases have, at least here in the States, have a small contingent of static displayed aircraft. For the United States, the 2 main aviation museums, or 3 main aviation museums, if you want to consider the United States Intrepid as an aviation museum, are in the Smithsonian at the National Air and Space Museum, the USS Intrepid aircraft carrier that sits in New York Harbor as an aviation museum on the flight deck, and then you have Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. At least those are the three big ones that I know of. The three big ones that I care about. But yeah, it went 15 years. We increased to 113 mile an hour, and then we were doing almost 300 mile an hour in the air in World War II, and it was 66 years. 66 years from the time the Wright brothers took their first flight, till we landed on the moon. 66 years. Time flies when you're having fun. Literally. All right, we're getting a little off track. We've got quite a few more questions to get through, and a lot of them are. The next two are interactive questions with the chat, and well, actually, the next three are. So let's just delve into it. One of our new residents to Rogue Bard Advice sent out a question through the Discord channel to me. She actually sent two. Gray sent out this question. Her hubby wants to know, do you use any house rules when it comes to resurrection magics? He just instituted the Critical Role house rules to keep death a challenge in the Curse of Strahd. That is a very, very interesting question, and I do use house rules when it comes to certain magics, though most of the time I stick with the 3-5 rules on magic, and that's that. I don't play 5e. I haven't played 5e. I'm going to be starting to play a game of 5e, so I got to brush up on 5e knowledge, but for the most part, my house rules when it comes to resurrections and magics, or resurrection magics, if it says you can do it, you can do it. But if you, like, for instance, a wish spell, true resurrection, though a wish spell, you gotta be, my house rules are very strict when it comes to the wish spell. You have to write the spell down before you have to write what you're wishing for down and make sure that it makes sense and make sure that it is complete and before you wish for it, because if one thing is off, you're gonna get what you wish for. It may not be exactly what you wish for, but you're gonna get your wish. Now, when it comes to resurrections, if you got a scroll of resurrection, if you've got somebody, I let those slide. However, those are for the individuals who are only mostly dead. If you know, you know, but mostly dead, you still come back to life. But you got to have a pill for Miracle Max. But if you're all the way dead, I play old school house rules when you're all the way dead. You either hand me your character sheet and I light it on fire and it goes in the bucket, or I hand you the lighter and you light up your character sheet and it goes in the bucket and you start a new character. Those are my house rules for magical resurrections. Bye, dear. Have a nice night. I don't know why you're leaving, but okay. Have a great weekend. But yeah, so when it comes to resurrection magics, if you're dead in my campaign, you're dead. You're starting a new character, and we will pick your character up. The party will pick your character up at the next rest stop, at the next town, at the next intersection. We may come across you being accosted by a group of highwaymen, Who knows? But I will. I will integrate you into the party, and you're just rolling up a new character. Same, simple as that. The next question from Gray is actually her question, and she asked. Well, first of all, I hope you got information out of that, Gray, and I hope your hubby got information out of that last question. And y'all have to tell me what this Curse of Strahd is. I have no idea what this Curse of Strahd is. So pop that in Discord. But your question, related question from you, what are my favorite house rules? Well, I answered my favorite house rules in the same question as I did with your hubby's question. My favorite house rule is your character's dead and you're writing up a new character. Sorry for your luck. I don't care if you spent 5 hours or 5 days creating a backstory for that character. If you do something wrong and you've messed your character up so bad that it dies, so be it. I had that happen to me on my very first paladin. I spent like 3 hours building my first paladin, and within the first 30 minutes of our play game, or of our playtime, our game, my paladin did something stupid, and he thought he was the biggest thing since sliced bread, and he wasn't, and he got smacked down, and he didn't get up. He was a squishy paladin. A module designed to kill the PCs. Yes, 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 I love it. I love it. Crimson Honda saved his whole family from a TPK situation the last time they played. They were level 1, so why you try to TPK level 1 characters? You don't TPK level 1 characters. You don't start trying to TPK your party until they do something idiotic and stupid and off the rails, or you're just sadistic like that and you have a DM who likes to run you through the emotional ringer, as I am being informed on daily on how a friend of mine is getting her emotional bell rung. We had a half-orc fighter sacrifice himself for the party, and thanks for that. They were allowed a reincarnation. It worked. They're back, but as a pixie, wielding a gun, her weapon of choice. Yokai? Yokai? That works, but it would have been funnier if she came back as a pixie wielding a stick, because that you could turn that into her name. Her name could be Pixie Stick. But I digress. I was playing a starter campaign, and you kept rolling nat 20s. Well, then you should give Sarah her dice back. And if you're new to the chat, Sarah is a member, or was a member of Man Shorts, still is a member of Man Shorts, something like that. Over on the Man Shorts channel. And she always fudge rolled her dice. So what did Man Shorts do? Man Shorts partnered with Kraken Dice and created Sarah's set of dice. It's an all gray, black set of dice. The dice are gray, the numbers are black, and there is a D20 in that system, or in that setup. It comes with like 3 D20s. But there's a D20 in that dice set that has 2 1s on it, 2 20s on it, and nothing lower than a 13. So, yeah. Crimson, you need to give Sarah her dice back. We have some very weird homebrew stuff going on in that campaign. You didn't have her dice? Well, then you still need to give her dice back. And I'm adamant that you channeled Sarah's dice somehow. warlocks are able to do that. But you channeled her dice somehow, did some magical voodoo, and rolled all nat 20s. So maybe you should maybe you should flip the coin. But yeah, no, those are my homebrew rules. Those are my favorite homebrew things to do. I like what you guys are doing. But yeah, I hope you got Yokai. I hope you got answers out of there. No, Gray had that answer. Yokai's question is up next. Sorry about that, Gray. I hope you got an answer out that for you and your hubby. But your question, Yokai. Hi, just a quick question that I keep meaning to send in, and hopefully won't need much researching. Did not need researching at all. Feel free to use it whenever. I used it tonight because I only got like 2 questions before I sent out the last little bit on the Discord. Hey, you guys got like 2 hours. I still got questions. How did you and the chat get into D&D TTRPGs? Yokai Lover. Well, thank you for that question, Yokai. And my first foray into D&D and TTRPGs, much like probably many young men out there, Boy Scouts. Boy Scout camping trips. Boy Scouts. Had kids my age who their parents played, and they gave them their books. And this was all 3E, not even 3.5E. This was late 2E, beginning 3E, because I remember character sheets where I had to fill out THACO and whatnot. So I played with THACO. And then I got out of it a little bit, and then when I got back into it within the Army, we were playing 3.5. We were playing 3 and 3.5. So, yeah, we definitely Boy Scouts, long camping trips, the week-long camping trips, or the weekend-long camping trips where we would go out Friday afternoon, set the tents up, and by Friday evening, we're sitting around a campfire creating our characters. Saturday, we're doing the camping stuff, and Saturday night we're playing freaking D&D, picnic tables, all sorts of that. And then the Boy Scout week-long summer camps or month-long summer camps. Yeah. Gray got into it because he had a serious crush on a guy he played. Okay. See? So my reasoning for getting into it, if I ever had a crush on any of the people I played, that would have been, well, not weird, but it's the Boy Scouts. So, you're not late, Gray. What did I tell Crimson Honda? Gray, you're a wizard. Wizards are never late. Wizards only arrive when they are meant to, and you arrived just when you were meant to, and it was just happened to be after your questions. So, would you like me to give you my answer again, Gray? I mean, I can. We've got 15 minutes to the end of the stream, but we've still got our Deadly Dungeon to do tonight too. So, Yokai got into D&D via her ex. Once we split, got into the D&D group, and to knowledge, no one's spoken to him since. I think I got the better end of the deal personally. Probably. Milady Lee found her mom's AD&D DM guide in the basement when she was in high school. Didn't actually find anyone to play until my late 20s, though. Aww. D&D does unite. So, fun fact. This is a fact that I know. Sarah and Justin over on the Man Shorts channel met through D&D. Hey. Great. So you can watch your hubby's question over again, because I gave the answer there too. But just for your my favorite home rules or house rules is if your character dies, like totally dies, like cannot be resurrected, dies, you either hand me your character sheet and I set it on fire and put it in the bin, or I give you the lighter and you set your character sheet on fire and put it in the bin. You re-roll a character if your character dies. Favorite homebrew house rule. So there you go. So yeah, that's how I got into D&D, and I've been playing for 30 years, 29, 30 years, something like that. Yeah. So, all right. So now comes for the fun bits. This week, you guys went off. And when I say you guys went off, I thought overwhelmingly that you guys would have chosen the Vikings in this week's Deadly Dungeon. Because remember, there was a whole horde of deranged gods and a whole horde of Vikings. The legendary ones that I put up in the Discord. And the legendary deranged gods that I put up in the Discord. Now, I did take out 2 deranged gods only because I don't think that a planet-sized entity of cybernetic proportions or General Zod really fit the bill. So I took out Unicron and General Zod. But I also put in Audrey and Techno Viking. But with that, let's see how they did. And the title of this episode tonight is Legend versus Lunacy. And that's what this battle is. It's the squad of legends versus Lunacy. Now, I did tweak the algorithm just a little bit. I made it so that it was more fair. Can't just have the gods just overpower the Vikings and do everything else. However, if the gods won, they won. If the Vikings won, the Vikings won. There was no cheating. There was no manipulating the situation. But this is what we've got. We're going to start with the Viking squad. We've got Leif Erikson, the explorer, the tactician. His main weapons are the longbow and short sword. He has naval tactics, boarding maneuvers. He's very high mobile, and very adaptive to terrains. We had Ragnar Lothbrok, warlord leader, Dane axe and shield. He inspires cohesion and frenzy. We threw in Lagathera, the shield maiden queen. She carries dual axes. She's a guerrilla skirmisher, and she's a hit and run expert. Not going there. Anyway, we have Ivar the Boneless. He's a master tactician. Traps, pitfalls, poison darts. Excels in psychological warfare. We did throw in Thor, the god champion with Mjolnir. Hammer throws, lightning storm, super durability, hammer. And we have Beowulf, Monster Slayer par excellence, enhanced strength, battle reflexes, uncanny monster instinct. We threw in Ivar, the assassin Viking hybrid, hidden blades, smoke bombs, eagle eye scouting, and then of course Techno Viking, rhythm powered shock trooper, war drum morale buff, super strength, unstoppable charge. Their gear and traits, we gave them chainmail, leather, round shields, javelins, axes, limited runic magic via Thor's storm rights, all sorts of good things. Right? Then we get the deranged gods. We have 7 of them. We have Azathoth, the primal chaos incarnate, reality shredding aura, foes become disorganized. Thorizdun, god of entropy, planar collapse spells, summons void spawn. Sheogorath, the Daedric prince of madness, mind warp enchantments, illusions that fracture morale. Dormammu, the lord of flame fettered dimensions, hellfire blast, dimension hop, life drain touch. Thanos, the mad titan tactician, super strength, energy projection, tactile genius, no infinity gauntlet. We did not give him the infinity gauntlet. And then Darkseid, New God, Tyrant, Omega Beams, Telepathy, Nigh Invulnerability, though we know what Nigh Invulnerability is. Still vulnerable. What's going on in the chat? Yes, Gray, you're going to run a rewatch. My favorite character now, Creature of the Multiverse. She has versions in 3 separate campaigns so far. My first character is still kicking, so if your first character is still kicking Crimson Auto, then you must be a level 20 epic level character. First character started as a lowly ranger scout, ended up being a demigod by the time the campaign finally finished 2 years later. Did you sing the demigod song from Moana? Da, 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 da. Hey. Milady's got class. Everybody's got class. Oh, wait, no. You said sass. Okay. Yeah, no. But then let's go back to the dungeon now. Then you got Odir, or Odri, who is basically Odin in a deranged righteous state. The Allfather Unhinged, Gungear, Spear Strike, Storm Magic, Raven Sight, Omniscience. The powers and weaknesses, Cosmic Scale and Reality Warping versus Vulnerability when powers counteract. Magic Backlash, Over Entropic Collapse, Backfires, High Durability, but susceptible to coordinated divine artifacts, Mjolnir, runes, and ambush attacks. We went through their tactics and battlefield dynamics. God strategies were open assaults with area blast, Omega beams, hellfire storms, reality warps to scatter formations, Azathoth's aura, Sheogorath's illusions, single target focus on champions, Odin's Raven Sight pinpoints the leaders. And then, of course, we had the Viking strategy, ambush and attrition, Ivar's traps, funnel gods into choke points, divine weapons, Thor wields Mjolnir to stun Darkseid or Thanos, Beowulf duels Dormammu with Monster Slayer ferocity, hit and run, Lagathera and Ivor strike flanks, then vanish, Techno Vikings charge, breaks enemy magic concentration, morale synergy, fog of war and drum beats mask gods reality shifts. The environments were the fjord valleys, ruined temples, storm-tossed plains, shifting eternal realms, preventing any side from having a consistent advantage. Now, before we get into my battle simulation, we're going to go to see what you guys thought. Well, it's going to show, if we go here, it's going to show what my battle simulations ended with too. But you guys overwhelmingly, 83% to 17% deranged gods. I am absolutely stunned that you guys went the deranged gods route. Absolutely stunned. Absolutely floored. Not so much when I plugged in all the caveats to the logger or to the algorithm and ran it with no cheats, make it realistic as possible. If make it not legends, make it they're real freaking people kind of thing. Out of 100 simulated battles, the deranged gods were victorious 60 times. Their cosmic area effects, Omega Beams, Hellfire, Reality Warp, overwhelmed the Vikings' ranks when the warband can't close in fast enough. Asthoth's Madness Aura shatters cohesion, letting Dormammu and Darkseid pick off champions. Odin's Raven Sight and Therisdun's planar collapse occasionally catch Vikings in inescapable traps. However, with that being said, the Viking warband victory rallied 40 times. They had perfectly executed ambushes, Ivor's pit traps, and Evor's stealth kills neutralized gods one by one, especially Sheogorath and Therisdun, whose magic backfires in crude terrain. Thor versus Darkseid, Thanos duels, Mjolnir's Divine, hurled strikes stagger cosmic tyrants, giving the Vikings time to rip them down, and Techno-Vikings' unstoppable charge breaks through Asthoth's aura pockets, resetting the battlefield. Final verdict, deranged gods prevailed in my simulation 60 to 40. You guys overwhelmingly smashed that 83 to 17. But the Vikings proved more than mere cannon fodder. Their cunning traps, divine forged weapons, and unbreakable morale net them the 40 spectacular upsets, testament to how fearless mortals backed by God-blessed champions can slay near omnipotent foes. So, with that being said, this was our semifinal match, our final semifinal match. We are now into the finals bracket, and this is what the bracket looks like so far. Boom! This is what the bracket looks like so far. Why did I have that 60-40 there? That's supposed to, I would change this next week. That's supposed to be 80-17 or 83-17. Regardless, it's the outcome is still the same. We've got not next week. In 2 weeks, I'm going to give you guys 2 weeks for this next poll. It's going to be Bender versus a deranged god. And you guys get to pick the deranged god. Now, when I say this, I should take the deranged god that you guys overwhelmingly picked to be the leader of the deranged god group at 71%, which was Sheogorath. So, but I don't think Sheogorath could stand toe-to-toe with Bender. So, I'm going to give you guys 2 weeks because I do think I will be missing next week's show to go do the playthrough of Spell Shots Against Humanity to raise money for Defiant Cupcake and her cancer treatments. So, but I will give you guys 2 weeks to decide. Bender versus the deranged god. And do we do a whole group of Benders and a whole group of gods, or do we do it one-on-one? I think, my opinion, one-on-one would be best. But with that being said, we are now in chat. And we would like to take this time to run through the good things of the week. I'm also putting the email address on the bottom of the screen so that you guys can send me questions so that I can answer them. It's roguebardadvice@gmail.com. That's kind of looks like roguebardadvice@gmail.com. So, good things for the week. I am still upright and living after a pretty tumultuous situation yesterday. So, those of you who are not new to the chat do know that I take blood pressure medication, right? Yeah, I didn't take my blood pressure medication yesterday. I know, bad me. I get it. I paid the price for it. Oh, did I pay the price for it? You guys also know that I get anxiety palpitations, though that didn't happen yesterday. I didn't have that. No, what I had was I found out that Starbucks has something, and it's called the Trente. It is their largest size, and it's 30 ounces, and they only do it for like their mixed drinks or their iced coffees, but not iced mocha. Can't get the iced mocha in it, but you can get iced coffee in it. So I had one of those I was drinking on it for like 4 hours. Got it at like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. It was gone by like noon. But I had one of those, and it had 3 shots of espresso in it. So by 3:45 yesterday afternoon, my blood pressure was up to 91 over 110. Yeah, I'm I'm still here. So I did relax. I did rest. I did bring my blood pressure down. We're all good. I was yelled at immensely by multiple people. What's going on in the chat? Somebody would like to see somebody stop their sass. I know of a couple people who could who could try to stop the sass. The gods just sound OP. I don't remember if I voted or not, but I go with the deranged gods. I behave all the time. The behavior may be inappropriate, but it's all behavior. Yes, yes, yes. I like it. Bender will just tell everybody to bite his shiny metal ass. Speaking of shiny metal ass, Jim, I was watching a video the other day. Somebody has created a leather backpack, a leather Bender backpack, and all I could think of when I saw this was bite my shiny leather ass. So I like that. Bender has cartoon logic and physics on his side. Maybe I might be able to plug those in to the algorithm and see where we go from there. Crimson Honda's wife's cancer is gone. Hopefully she continues to get positive results. Yes, that's a good thing, Crimson. You missed our announcements earlier, but that's a good thing. Good things. Ron's good things. He got all the posts and beams back in place for the deck addition to our trailer. Nice. It's only available for iced teas, iced coffees, refreshers, and cold brew. Nothing with milk. Well, why not nothing with milk? They asked me if I wanted cream and sugar in it the other day, and I said no. So, yeah, awesome news, Crimson Honda. Good thing of the week. Finally got a break in the 100-degree plus heat. Yay. Yeah, I know, Gray. I'm sorry. There was a lecture. There was a lecture. The BP, Gray, the BP isn't what concerns me. My BP is always high. and it's not it's not high because of any. It's just I have a naturally high blood pressure. So what concerns me, and what everybody in the chat knows, what concerns me is my heart rate. My resting heart rate is between 76 and 80. I was upwards of 91 for my resting heart, or for my heart rate. So, yeah. Luckily, I got my blood pressure down last night. Still high. Still taking my meds, but it's still high only because I'm circular. 145 over 86 with a 83 heart rate. So, good news for the week. You're going to be going to the North Sports Legacy Gathering in November. I love that for you. I hope that I could go. Depending. I did purchase a ticket. They're only $37 if you want to go, and they're only limited to 300. So if somebody wants to post something in the Discord, if she's able to, she knows who I'm talking to. If she's allowed to post in the Discord, they have announced it. So if anybody in the Discord would like to go hang out and play, what is it, 10 a.m. to midnight, 12 hours, 14 hours of D&D, Magic the Gathering, food, sword fights, the good kind, not the, never mind. Yeah, it's getting back to Norse Forge gatherings 1 and 2, where they were just small groups of gatherings of people just having fun and gaming. Because Norse himself has always been busy after the first 2 to partake in any of the fun and shenanigans. So he wants to partake in fun and shenanigans. So that's what we're going to do. That's like when your thyroid was berserk. Yes, yes, yes. I've had higher BP resting heart rate. That is crazy. Ron has 180 resting for him when he was hyperthyroidism. Yeah, no, it's not fun. Dude, you have dysautonomia, or resting is 60 to 70. Times when you stand up, it hits 130 and under minute. Look, okay, so here's the thing. You want my heart rate to go down? Yell at me. My heart rate plummets. I was on the phone with my wife, and she is talking, just talking, and I'm trying to get to do another blood pressure read. And she's talking to me, yeah, blah, 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 just annoying me. That's it. It's not yelling at me, just annoying me. And my blood pressure dropped to 120 over 126 over 91. And then the moment she stopped talking, and like 3 minutes later, or not even 3 minutes later, like a minute and a half later, I took another read, and it was 156 over, or 150 over 88, I think, something like that. So yeah, you want my heart rate to go down? Constantly annoy me, and my heart rate will drop. It's like my body wants to die. My wife, on the other hand, she needs to bring her heart rate up because she has a low BP, right? She does everything. She calls me up and tells me to yell at her, scream, do this. her heart rate will not rise. I can't get her angry enough to get her heart rate to rise. So, yeah, no, I exactly know what you're talking about, Gray. Ruby has both versions of POTS. Wow. Wow. Listen to Arch Enemy. It's female lead, heavy metal. That's all. That always helps me. Maybe. I like listening to some heavy metal, but I listen to angry white kid music called new metal. Give me some corn. Give me some biscuit. Has anybody ever thought that the new metal bands of the early 90s were just named after food? Anyway, I digress. Pot sucks. Sojourns and HEDs both come with POTS, all kinds of autonomic dysfunction. Yes. Well, so most of you might know my wife has multiple sclerosis, so she's right there with you guys. Though she doesn't have POTS, Kitty, you know, I got one for you along the same line of Kitty. Though I don't know that they're no, it's not them. But there is a mostly female band that I listen to. Their lead singer, at least at the time, was pretty dope. Um, Try Lords of Acid, and it's not spelled Lord like a Lord King or anything. No, they take their name from Tracy Lord, Lourde. And if you know who Tracy Lord is, then I don't have to say anything else. Um, so yeah, listen to Lords of Acid. Wow, hour and 14 minutes already. Everybody, I want to thank you for hanging in there with me. I want to thank you for listening to me rant for the last 5 minutes about my blood pressure. I do take everybody's um, yelling at me to heart. I messed up. I did not take my blood pressure medication. I walked out the apartment without it. So it was my mistake. I did take it when I got home. Later is better. Late's better than never, right? So with that, I do want to say, if you guys can um, support everybody, we discussed this at the beginning of the show. Support Puffy Cheeto. Support Yazik. Support Kirk and his minis. They all need love. They all need our. They all need our. I don't want to use prayers, but they all want to use. They all need our good wishes. They all need our goodwill. And if you guys could help, Yazik's PayPal, his Venmo, his Cash App, his GoFundMe accounts are all revolving, and I believe they're in the Discord under the Help a Bard Out channel. Also in the Help a Bard Out channel, I don't know if I've put it in there yet, but there might be a video from Popo Blanco. Real good, real good friend of mine. Real good, nice guy. Um, I physically met him at the last gathering, so he's a cool guy. If you are on TikTok and you know him, he does Mr. Popo impressions um, from Dragon Ball Z. He's a voice actor. He He's a school bus driver for a special needs school right now, um, or at least he drives the special needs school bus. So don't know how much that's him driving it is not. It's me. Um, he's going through a lot. He got beginning of last winter. He got let go from his truck driving company. Um, so yeah, it was. It's been tough for him. So if y'all could help, anything helps. Even if you share up their videos, like them, watch their TikTok videos. I know some of you don't have TikTok. Go find their YouTube channel. Go find their Kick channel. Go find their Twitch channel, and just sit there and watch their stream. They get monetized for that, right? For watches and for how long somebody is being engaged for that. They do get something for that. So even if it's that, even if it's just to pop in and say, hey, I like what you do, keep up the good work. It means so much to somebody, to all of these creators. So with that, I am the Pirate Archaeologist. I am the rogue thief pirate archaeologist. I am Captain Bones when I'm in my costume. And this has been another episode of Rogue Advice. Please like, share, subscribe, send out the stream to all your friends. Maybe we get more people in here. Send your questions to roguebardadvice@gmail.com, and please be good to each other. And with that,